Okay, I think so. So let me just quickly restart. The topic is correlation between online assessment and student learning in engineering education. We did this work in the Military Technological College, Muscat, Oman. I have about 5 co-authors. The main author of this work is Dr. Muhammad Arif Ashraf. He is available online. He has joined us from Muscat through a Zoom meeting. The topic during this talk, I'll just quickly go over the following sequence, that is introduction, research questions, some research method and research analysis, and lessons learned. You did not put that, kindly just put the screen on. Okay, so a quick introduction to the work that we did. It's related to COVID. We know that this pandemic, it impacted all spheres of life, and education sector was the one that got affected most. And because of this COVID situation or pandemic situation, the education at all levels, may it be from nursery to tertiary or any level of education, it all went to standstill. There is a UNESCO report that published that there are 101.57 billion students, they got affected because of this pandemic, and the world had to address this particular issue in order to continue the education process. The major challenges in the e-learning were reported as motivation, technology readiness, because most of the institution and in a number of countries in the world were not ready for to address this quick transformation from conventional delivery to the online delivery or e-learning. And then we had a big problem that was faced with regard to the assessments when the students are not available on campus. The motivation is actually said that it can be extrinsic. There can be some forces that can force you for motivation, or you can have an intrinsic motivation. It's related to the teaching staff, whether they were motivated or not, because it is said that it's when you are talking to the screen, it's just talking to walls. Then the motivation of the learners, they were at a convenient place, so they got relaxed. A quick view at the technology readiness. If you see that it's the conventional method is face-to-face, then came up the term of distance learning. Then we went on to T-learning, which is just broadcasting, the virtual universities, TV stations. Then came e-learning, and then we went to M-learning, and then again an IP-based learning, and then U-learning, and so on, which is artificial intelligence and web operating system, nanotechnology, and all other things. So this is how the technology and trends, they move forward. But when the COVID came or the pandemic came, we were to respond, and we were asked to go up to e-learning level. Okay, so e-learning in Oman, we have 2 public sector universities in Oman, Sultan Qaboos University and Military Technological College. Military Technological College, from where I belong, was not much prepared as far as the e-learning is concerned. But if you talk about the Sultan Qaboos University, that is the biggest university in the Sultanate, they were already delivering about 8 online courses for 901 users. So this means they had some kind of readiness, and they were already aware of the requirements of e-learning. This quickly grown up to 40 online courses with 3001 users. So it was a relatively rapid progression from 8 online courses to 40 online courses. And during COVID, they reported that they delivered about 832 courses online. So addressing the challenges of COVID-19, everyone knows that it was a critical health emergency everywhere in the world. So does it affected the Sultanate of Oman. It was pandemic was spreading rapidly and widely. So conventional teaching went to halt. It was postponed, and then e-learning was adopted as the method of teaching. We went to investigate a few questions. We put up few questions, research questions for us in order to do this work. We were looking at the impact of e-learning on students' performance, any correlation that existed between the students' performance and the motivation in e-learning system. We wanted to probe technical problem and challenges in online assessment, and we were asked to come up with some potential solutions. The method that we followed, we went into two phases for the quantitative analysis, and the other part of it was a qualitative analysis that I am not covering in this particular paper here. I'll do it in the next paper that I'll present. So we collected some information related to the student assessment data. And then we also collected some information with the help of the questionnaires that we have, and then we went to the data analysis phase. The investigation was based on to see the impact on students' learning, and the comparison was done with the pre-COVID and the COVID environment. That means the conventional and online delivery, which was later on converted to hybrid model with some part coming from the conventional delivery, and most of it was covered through online methods. So the participants that we had, they were from all ages. If you see this particular pie chart, you'll see that it covers from 18 years to around 64 years of the participants in this particular survey. We had 49% of females in this particular data set and 51% of male. Sultanate of Oman has a big number of expats there, not the students, but the staff members. So 15% of them were the expats. They came from different countries. The complete program delivery in this 1.5 year, we started in semester 2 of 1920. We went on to full online delivery. And then in semester 1 and semester 2 of year 2021, that ended in this August-September time period, we followed an hybrid delivery with on-campus exam. Quickly, just giving you a look on the student assessment. If you see the first two, the blue and the orange particular bars, they are giving us the results of level 3, which is the first year of bachelor's. The gray and yellow bars are giving us the level 4 results, and then it's level 5 and level 6, that is the final year of the bachelor. So we found out that at the lower levels, the averages, they went up. So the first bar, that blue one, is pre-COVID, and the second one, that is orange one, is the post-COVID or the COVID environment. And similarly, the same pattern is followed. So if you see, we felt that the averages, they went up, and the standard deviations, they were much squeezed, but this was felt at the lower levels because we thought that it is because of the maturity of the students. So level 3 and level 4, we had major impact, but level 4 and level 5, where the assessments were mainly the coursework assessments or the research assignments and reports, and these students were already used to this kind of assessment process. So the impact was less in that part. The second set of data again showed the similar kind of results that we faced in the first set that I presented. So I'm not going to go over the detail into this because there are other presenters, they are waiting for their time. The key outcomes that we had from this particular research was the assessment when it was done under supervision and invigilation. So data becomes more reliable, and when we compared it to the online assessment, it was considered to be compromised because of the non-strict invigilation. So for level 3 and level 4, as I said, that is the first year and the second year of the bachelor's, the overall performance increased along with limited discrimination, or the standard deviation got skewed there. But at level 5 and level 6, mainly research-based assessments were actually conducted. So the performance was reported similar to the pre-COVID environment, and it did not impact much. So better confidence level in second year of online delivery, because for the first round we were not really much prepared, but for the second year online delivery, what we did, we had the online delivery along with some of the exams, they were taken on campus, so the data became more reliable. The key outcomes that we found out was the performance was directly related to the motivation. So when the motivation of the students increased, when the motivation of the students increased, the performance was also better. We also found out from this particular statistical analysis that those students who attended more sessions, their performance was much better. The conclusion quickly: performance of learners appear to be better in online assessments. because we thought that there is a compromise on the assessments. Yeah, I'm just winding up. This is the last slide. Lack of, I have 10 minutes. Okay. So I'll go slow. So lack of reliability in online assessment data because of the non-strict invigilation. The motivation and focus got declined when we moved on to the e-learning. The e-learning is more suited to mature learners. This is what our conclusion is. And for the younger students, it was difficult. It was difficult, in fact, for the complete families in order to cope up with the e-learning. The enhancement of trust on online assessment via technology improvements is one solution that we have proposed. We have to come up with some technological improvements and some new methods of actually strictly invigilating the assessment so that a chance of collaboration or the teamwork is actually avoided, which is found to be better in other ways. But here, if the teamwork comes in assessments, then we say that it has a negative impact. One major issue that we faced in the Sultanate of Oman was, it's not mentioned here, but I'll just quickly go over it as I have 1 more minute. So it was related to the availability of the space for the students, because the family size in most of the third world is much higher than or bigger than the Western world. So in Sultanate of Oman, when there are 5, 6, or 7 children at home, they all wanted a space, and that space was not available in those homes. They all wanted that technology, so it became a little burden on the parents. So these were some of the problems that were reported and had negative impact on the delivery of the program. That's all from my side. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And if you have any questions, I am available here to answer.